Tonight, horrific and depraved is the only way to describe what happened to 2-year-old Willie Brown. Cops say this little boy was treated like a human punching bag. And cops say the person doing the punching, the boy's own father. The dad put on boxing gloves and allegedly punched the boy to death. At first, Lee Willie De Jesus told police he came home to find his son, 2-year-old Willie Brown, bruised and unconscious on the bed. Cops say the father told them the babysitter hurt the son. But then he changed his story and admitted what he'd done. De Jesus told cops he was teaching his son how to box. Yeah, right. By punching this defenseless child 15 times? He was in charge of his son while the boy's mother was working. The suspect's sister cannot believe what has happened.
I don't understand what could the baby have done or anything that would have caused my brother to be in such rage or something, you know, for the baby to get hurt or anything.
Doctors tried to save the little boy's life, but it was too late. He'd suffered deadly head injuries. The suspect's family says this little boy was growing up, well, no surprise here, in a violent home, constant fighting between the boy's parents. So I personally would like to know why this precious child was left in this apparent monster's care. And I am taking your calls on this. 1-877-JVM says straight out to my fantastic expert panel. But first to Lauren Granado with News Radio 610 WIOD. Lauren, what is the very latest?
Jane, as of right now, what we know is that the little boy's father is still sitting in jail at this hour. He's actually charged right now with second-degree murder, but that charge will likely be upped tomorrow. The judge was ready to grant bail to 23-year-old Lee De Jesus this afternoon. He was only charged with child neglect and aggravated child abuse at that time. But when he actually got word that the child was brain dead after this beating, he decided to up that charge to second-degree murder instead. Originally, the boy's family had told us that he died at around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, but then we found out that he was actually on life support still today, perhaps pending organ harvesting, as his family did choose to donate. But we have gotten word from the state attorney's office that the boy has been removed from life support, and so they do plan to charge the father with first-degree murder first thing tomorrow as soon as all that paperwork is in order.
I want to clarify. Look at this beautiful little boy. Look at that baby. What an angel. The boxing gloves. Did the father put the boxing gloves on himself, or did he try to put the boxing gloves on this little toddler's hands?
From what we're told, he put the boxing gloves on himself, and they were large, adult-sized boxing gloves, and those things are very heavy, and they could certainly pack a punch, and as you said, he was punched about 15 times.
I mean, this is beyond comprehension evil. What happened to this 2-year-old boy, it turns all of our stomachs. I mean, the father puts on boxing gloves to, quote, teach the boy how to box, punches his son 15 times to his face, head, torso, shoulders. For 15 minutes, the boy's knocked off the bed, hits his head against the bedroom wall and a tile floor.
I'd like to teach the father how to box, Jane.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you could.
Give him about 15 minutes with me. I'll teach him how to box.
You know,
Here's this little boy. He hit this boy at least 15 times, Jane, in the face, in the head, in the stomach, in the shoulders. Then he knocked him off the bed into a wall, then onto a tile floor. But the thing that really gets to me, he waited 30 to 60 minutes to call for help until the boy became cyanotic and his lips turned blue.
Well, that was the neglect
Opri.
charge. That's the neglect charge that they filed. Now it's going to be upgraded to it's going to be upgraded to first-degree felony murder.
Yep.
Aggravated battery is the underlying felony, aggravated battery of a child. And, I mean, he's telling you that that's what he did. He was teaching the kid to box. Do you honestly believe that that was going on in his head, or do you think he was in a rage and beating the crap out of the kid? I mean, that's what was going on.
But his first story was he tried to blame it on a babysitter that he said that the biological mother had hired. And then it wasn't until he got down to homicide and he waived his Miranda rights that he came up with what the real story was.
Family members say the parents of this little boy were always fighting. His own mother says her son needs to pay for what he did. Let's listen to this, and then you, Deborah.
Stand a chance.
All I'm doing is praying. Believe that. All I'm doing is praying. You know, and if he did, then he have to, he have to deal with his consequences.
Debra Opri, jump in.
Let me tell you something, Jane. I am moved to tears tonight because I go into a courtroom every day and I see these kids either beaten to a pulp or dead. And my husband was a boxer. And let me tell you something. That is a murder weapon. And that child was murdered. And that man, he should go to the full extent of punishment of the law. I'm telling everyone out there, I do custody cases and child abuse cases every day. This was heinous. If you see this in your home, don't tolerate it. We're going to have more on this story
on the other side of the break. Also, a woman alerts her boyfriend that her home's been burglarized by communicating with her toes.